So continuing with our top 6 countdown gets of prayer, GETS of prayer, what we get, how we get through prayer. We're going to be doing today number 3 on the countdown, and it's a graduating bottom to top from least important overall to maybe the most important overall. As I conceive of it here, I'm not trying to make some rigid formula out of any of this. It's just that this was my take on prayer of late, and I wanted to pass it on. I did want to repeat the fact that these are primarily videos for those who consider themselves born-again Christians. And if you're not a born-again Christian so identifying, you might be a little put off by some of the things said here. And again, I just advise you or encourage you to hang in here as long as you can if you're not born again. Maybe some of the things you hear will encourage you to be born again. I do believe, as one issue that I did state earlier in this series, if you're identifying as a born-again Christian, you probably have noticed of late that whereas we used to be encouraged to be in the world, because we had to be, but not of it, now it's getting harder and harder to be either in it or of it. And there's a lot of stress involved in just going on day to day as a born-again Christian that, for instance, I didn't feel 5 or 6 years ago. And it seems to be worsening, but it's a stress that is coming from the outside. It's not an inner stress, and the devil would want you to believe it's an inner stress, and you're getting stressed out, and there's something wrong with you, and etc. That's not the case. It's a case of the devil aiming stress at us, barbs and darts of stress, to get us to fold. And we're not folding. Our spirits are strong. So his stress from the outside, in a very physical sense, is staying aimed at us. If you were at the ocean and breakers came in, and you were at the edge of the sea, and they were banging into your ankles and up to your knees, and the tide was coming in, you'd be stressed by that if you didn't want to buckle and be part of the new tide. And that's kind of what's happening now. If you want to join the tide of what's happening, everything around you, you won't have stress. You'll just slump down and playfully be carried with the waves. But if you don't approve of the waves and you think you're not of those waves as a born-again Christian, then you're going to have stress. So I just wanted to yell out there to fellow believers, there's nothing wrong with feeling stress. It's a sign, a good sign, that you're not of the new waves. And I wanted to, excuse me, I'm just checking the time here. I wanted to therefore resume our series after that aside about the waves and stress and hopefully some encouragement. I want to resume here and continue the countdown, the top 6 gets of prayer, which you get, how you get in prayer. 6 is just a number that occurs to me, and it's helpful here. Maybe I'm thinking inwardly about 6 being a biblical number of man. Fallen man is often given the number 6 through Scripture as it occurs to me, and number 666 is the ultimate number of a fallen man. The beast, who gives us his number, is 666, however that's going to play out. So that's why perhaps subconsciously I've given this a 6 countdown. We've done the number 6, number 5, and number 4 already, and this is going to be number 3. Through prayer, we get to God. We get to God himself. Through prayer, we get to God, and there's no particularization here. There's no getting something or getting away from something or getting behind God in a particular task, as was the case in the prior gets. This number 3 in the countdown, just getting to God himself. We want to get to God for his presence, which, as I referred to before, is getting more and more precious when we realize we're not of this world. Get to God for his own sake, for his peace, for his tranquility, for his companionship. If I have a moment during the day when I can get to God in prayer, just for his own sake, I'll take that moment, because my wife might be very comforting at times, or a friend, or another YouTuber might be very comforting, but no one replaces the comfort of God. So we get to God in prayer, and this is countdown number 3. We get to God, and again we're going up to the top 1 of the countdown. This is 3, and we've yet to do number 2 and number 1. The gets to God, and if you're so inclined, you can let your mind wander as what might be my number 2 and number 1 gets. But for now, let this suffice, and thank you for listening.